U.S. and Philippines deploy missile systems as tensions rise in the South China Sea. The United States is discussing the possibility of deploying more missile launches to the Philippines to strengthen deterrence against aggression in the disputed South China Sea and other Asian security flashpoints, but no final decision has been reached by either side, Manila's ambassador to Washington said Thursday. The U.S. military deployed a medium-range missile system called the Typhon, a land-based weapon capable of firing Standard 6 and Tomahawk land attack missiles, to the northern Philippines as part of joint combat exercises in April last year. This was followed by the U.S. military's deployment of anti-ship missile launches in April this year to the Philippines' northernmost province, Batanes, which shares a maritime border with Taiwan. Beijing has strongly protested the deployment of the U.S. missile systems, saying they are aimed at containing China's rise and warning that they threaten regional stability. China has called on the Philippines to withdraw the missile launches from its territory, but officials led by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. have rebuffed the request. Ambassador Jose Manuel Romualdez said without elaborating that the possible deployment of more maritime expeditionary ship interdiction system, MESIS, missile launches by the U.S. is under discussion for consideration by both sides. The anti-ship missile system could be installed along the Philippines' coastal areas facing the South China Sea and surrounding areas to enhance deterrence against aggression, he said. This is part of the strong defense partnership between the U.S. and the Philippines, Romualdez told the Associated Press. Romualdez spoke on the sidelines of a trade and investment conference in Manila, where he and Philippine Foreign Secretary Teresa Lazaro encouraged major U.S. companies to invest in a range of industries, from energy and telecommunications to infrastructure and naval shipbuilding, in the Philippines, the U.S.'s oldest treaty ally in Asia. When U.S. companies invest here, it's not just a return on capital, it's the return on the alliance, Romualdez told U.S. business executives at the conference. A stronger Philippine economy means a more capable and reliable defense partner for the United States. At a time when America is diversifying its supply chains and rethinking its global strategy, we are a natural choice and a strategic necessity, Romualdez said. I ask you to convey this message to the Trump administration. Every U.S. dollar invested in the Philippines strengthens America's position in the Indo-Pacific. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth flew to Manila in March on his first visit to Asia and said the Trump administration would work with allies to strengthen deterrence against threats around the world, including China's increasingly aggressive actions in the South China Sea. The U.S. is not preparing for war, Hegseth said at the time, but emphasized that peace will be achieved through strength. China claims virtually the entire South China Sea. The Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan also have overlapping claims to this resource-rich and busy waterway, but confrontations have escalated between the Chinese and Philippine Coast Guards and navies in recent years. On Wednesday, the U.S. briefly deployed 2 warships in what it called a freedom of navigation operation off the disputed Scarborough Shoal in the South China Sea, where 2 Chinese Navy and Coast Guard vessels collided earlier this week while trying to dislodge a smaller Philippine Coast Guard vessel. The high seas incident sparked concern among Asian and Western nations. Freedom of navigation is critical to the trillions of dollars of trade that passes through these waters, U.S. Ambassador to the Philippines Mary Kay Carlson told reporters on the sidelines of a Manila investment conference. This is about trade. This is about lives and livelihoods.
Yeah, he can fill the batteries and everything.